On the question of 2024, you're crazy if you think the options are anything but Ron DeSantis or Donald Trump. It's not even a question. Everyone else is just tossing their hats in the ring, auditioning for a cabinet job, the vice presidency, or their understudies behind the curtain, praying for Trump or DeSantis to bow out in some fluke political accident. And they all know it. They're bit players vying for light and action. DeSantis is notably not at CPAC this year. He was invited to a closed-door Club for Growth retreat in Palm Beach, Florida. There, he is joined by a list of second stringers: Mike Pence, Tim Scott, Chris Sununu. However, Trump did not receive an invite, despite the fact that he's blowing everyone out of the water in early polling nationwide. Incidentally, Club for Growth has had a pitiful track record in recent years. Their endorsements don't weigh as much as they once did. It appears leadership over there are taking stupid pills, or better yet, guzzling swamp juice. What's worse, the swamp creatures are peacocking all over Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis needs Karl Rove, Jeb Bush, and Paul Ryan endorsements like he needs a hole in his boat at sea. Republicans hate Paul Ryan more than Democrats do. So look at what's happening. The Swampies are making a cardinal mistake. They're assuming they can impose their expired and obsolete influence onto the hearts and minds of the voters who fund them. Just because the swamp is excited to purge their universe of MAGA, Ultra MAGA, and Trump populism does not mean the rest of its voting base feels the same. Despite the internal polling of Republicans showing Trump comfortably leading everyone, you have groups like Americans for Prosperity putting out this memo a few weeks ago, insisting it's time to move on from Trump. Quote, "We've got to turn the page on the past several years." Turn the page on Middle East peace deals? Turn the page on record-high economies? Turn the page on a secure border? Turn the page on single-handedly de-escalating thermonuclear exchanges with North Korea? Turn the page from lower taxes? Move on from putting Putin in his box? Recover from law and order and backing the blue? Turn the page? Haven't we done that with the last 2 nightmare years under Biden? What is wrong with these people? Here's what's wrong with them. They're cowards, born in the wrong country. The United States is the most generous, powerful, and productive country in the world, built that way by the American spirit. The American spirit is bold, it is visionary, it is optimistic. These political experts are the opposite of this American spirit. They're cowards. They operate out of fear and a facade of arrogance. So they create a system in which they are comfortable, a system that has a safety net. Cookie-cutter political ads, dumbed-down talking points. They hire their talentless pals and pay each other exorbitant fees and salaries from the GOP coffers. Trump ruined all of this. Now that he's out, he needs to stay out. The best they can do is offer up to the altar of the masses a buffet of alternative candidates. And while we've got plenty of time, I've got to say, their efforts don't impress. Here's what they're fighting against. Trump being classic Trump. He's taking on all of the GOP establishment in a way only he can. He's channeling 2016 Trump. And what was the defining characteristic there that helped him beat out the entire GOP system amongst 16 highly qualified candidates? Trump declared war not only on the globalist left, he declared war on the GOP. He challenged them in a way only he had the boldness to do. Fast forward to 2024, here's Trump's battle plan against the GOP right now. Where establishment Republicans are all in for endless war in Ukraine, a quagmire, Trump is reminding recession-era taxpayers how wonderful America first was for our wallets. Biden's people say it's the taxpayers' moral duty to defend Ukraine's borders. And most Republicans agree. Look at these billion-dollar checks they keep signing on your behalf, all while Americans struggle to pay off mounting debt just to buy $6 eggs. Trump's message will stand out on the GOP debate stage come August when he faces off the establishment. His message has been exhaustingly consistent. Negotiate peace ASAP. In virtually every interview he gives, Trump says he could broker a peace deal in 24 hours. When it comes to Ron DeSantis, it's unclear where he stands on Ukraine. He doesn't, as governor, need to be commenting on it, so he doesn't need to share his position yet. But Trump, the killer he is, swooped in and labeled DeSantis globalist Ron. I suspect he'll stand with Trump here and oppose an endless war. We'll see. But you can count on the fact that Trump himself is going to war with the GOP on this one. The GOP is going right along for the Ukraine money ride, and Trump will have a track record of saying no thanks right from the get-go. The second line of attack Trump has launched against the GOP establishment is on Social Security and Medicare. Now, this is a fascinating one, and it's hands down brilliant. Trump has lobbed a difficult volley of attacks on Ron DeSantis and the GOP separately. Tuesday, Trump truthed out. Great poll numbers are springing forth for your favorite president, me, against Ron DeSantis and Biden. I guess people are finding out that he, DeSantis, wanted to cut Social Security and raise the minimum age to at least 70, at least 4 times. Likewise with Medicare, wanted big cuts. He is a wheelchair over the cliff kind of guy, just like his hero, failed politician Paul Ryan, the Fox News ratings destroyer who let Mitt Romney's presidential campaign down the tubes. Globalists all, we want America first. DeSantis has not commented on his position here yet, but see what Trump is doing here? He's clumping DeSantis in with the rhino princeling Paul Ryan. Remember what Paul Ryan tried to do with Social Security? Ryan famously proposed replacing Medicare with giving seniors money for private health insurance. Democrats took this talking point and ran with it, knowing full well that taking away your Social Security was one way to guarantee lost votes from seniors. This was a big talking point for Democrats, even this past midterm election. Republicans did not take this seriously, and Democrats outperformed, staving off the red wave that had been all but guaranteed. It is a losing position, and history proves that. So where does DeSantis stand on all this? Will he buck the GOP and Paul Ryan? We really don't know. Here's DeSantis from 2013.
So I would embrace proposals, like Paul Ryan offered and other people have offered that are going to, provide some market forces in there, more consumer choice, and make it so that it's not just basically a system that's gonna be bankrupt when you have new people coming into it.
I like that free market language, but there's a nuance here. Trump's opposition is not him being a socialist. He's all for cutting, just not from the people who've already paid into the system.
Cut waste, fraud, and abuse everywhere that we can find it, and there's plenty of it. But do not cut the benefits our seniors worked for and paid for their entire lives. Save Social Security. Don't destroy it.
A new Gallup poll found that 45% of Americans are satisfied with the current setup. So Democrats know where they failed on the border, they failed on crime, they failed on the economy. They can convince Americans to forget all that by threatening retirement plans. Simple political fact. So whoever the Republicans face off in 2024, the only candidate Democrats can't use this powerful talking point on is Trump. For now. In the meantime, we'll sit back and watch quite the show between Trump and DeSantis. Keep in mind, as some of you scrunch your noses at the way Trump fights, remember, Trump is the king of dirty boxing. He pulls punches few are willing to pull. While that looks very ugly when he turns that on one of our own, once out of the primaries, that's exactly the kind of fighting Americans have craved in past to set loose on the swamp creatures in Washington and the dollar-sucking globalists abroad. Trump and his DeSantis mudslinging is reminding us that he is the power puncher American voters are hoping for after 4 years of Biden falling up and down the stairs. Politics is not a gentleman's sport. It never was. Americans didn't win the Revolutionary War against the world's most powerful empire because they were gentlemen. No. We won that war by the grace of God and by shooting redcoats in the back and from behind trees, Indian style. We've a long legacy of fighting dirty, if it's for a just cause, if it's for liberty.